Hey, Prestige family, it's your relationship coach Ola, and welcome back to Man of Prestige. As usual, in this video, we will be extracting relationship lessons from the story of one of our favorites, who? Tuface Idibia. So, if you have not joined the Prestige family, it's free, like absolutely free. Just click or tap that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss another video from us. My goal is that this platform can be your go-to manual for everything marriage, dating, and relationships with the intention to marry. And so someone comments, he, Two-Face, right? That is, will forever miss Annie. No other woman can tolerate and love him that much. That was one of the most popular comments floating around social media with over 400 thumbs up after its newest interview dropped. And when I read it, I paused because inside that single sentence is pain, judgment, loyalty, disappointment, nostalgia, and a whole lot of emotion people have carried for years among themselves, but they can see it inside Two-Face, Annie, and Natasha's story. Recently, Tuface sat down on the mic on podcast with Seun Okinbaloye, and for the first time in a long time, he opened the door just a little into the blueprint he used to build his multiple households, marriages, and big family. It was raw, it was uncomfortable. You can literally see in his body language, and it reminded all of us that behind a legend called Tubaba is still a very human man trying to make sense of the life he created. Now, before we even go further, if you're watching this, there's a good chance you're feeling something personal, something close, something you can relate with. Maybe you're a man who has made decisions you're not proud of. Maybe you're a woman who has loved someone deeply and wondered if loyalty was a blessing or a terrible mistake. Maybe you've been judged for your choices, your relationships, marriage, or your mistakes. Maybe people have called you foolish, naive, stubborn, toxic, weak, irresponsible, or too emotional. Maybe you've heard things like you should have known better, or why didn't you leave earlier, or don't you ask questions, or that's what you get. And after a while, all those voices start to sound louder than your own. So when the internet drags Two-Face or Annie or Natasha or anyone connected to this story, it doesn't feel like celebrity gossip anymore. It feels personal because in some way you see pieces of your own life inside it. That's why this story matters. Innocent Uja Idibia, better known as Tubaba or Two-Face, he has a life story that nobody would believe if it wasn't real. It begins in the late 1990s in Enugu, Nigeria. A young, talented singer joins forces with his friends Blackface and Face to form Plantation Boys.
I were meant to be together. Believe that. For me, you and I were meant to be together, baby.
They become the soundtrack of the generation, hits everywhere, fame rising, dreams getting bigger. Then in 2004, he steps out on his own and releases Face to Face, and suddenly, African Queen changes everything.
Yeah, and you are my African queen.
Not just for him, but for Afrobeats and artists that have since followed his footsteps, and you can trace a line from that moment to the wave that gave us stars like Wizkid, Davido, Burna Boy, Thames. This whole era, that song African Queen didn't just make him a star, it made him a symbol of love, romance, and African pride. And right there in that music video was Annie Macaulay, the young woman who would later become Annie Idibia. To many fans, that moment looked like destiny being sealed on camera. But life, as you know, doesn't follow music video scripts. As his career grew, his personal life grew complicated. While still involved with Annie, he fathered children with two other women, Sumbo Adeoye had 2 sons for him, whereas Adeniyi had 3. The public watched, the tabloids talked, fans judged, families whispered. Imagine being Annie at that time, loving a man the whole country loves, fighting your private battles in public, smiling on red carpets while swallowing pain behind closed doors. And imagine being Tuface, a superstar traveling the world, surrounded by temptations, not an excuse, just the reality, fame, and pressure, making choices that felt good in the moment but heavy in the long run. In 2012, he finally proposed to Annie. In 2013, they had that fairy tale wedding in Dubai. It looked like the storm was over. But storms don't disappear. Sometimes they just change shape. For years, they tried. They built a family, 2 beautiful daughters, a powerful brand. Yet the emotional weight of his past never really went away. Then in early 2025, the world heard the news. Separation. Yes, Tuface himself announced separation, and almost immediately after, the narrative shifted again. A second marriage, a new chapter with Edo State's Honorable Natasha Osawaru. It seems that when the chaos began, there was the UK incident where videos surfaced of police escorting Tuface after an alleged public disagreement with Natasha in a London shop. Then the Daddy Freeze Instagram live session, where former managers criticized Natasha's influence and Tuface jumped in angrily defending his private life. Then shortly after, they were shouting that turned into what sounded like a physical struggle off camera before the connection cut off. Everywhere you looked, it felt messy. And the internet did what the internet always does. Pick sides, throw insults, create villains and victims. Right now, I want to pause this story and give you a tactical win, something practical you can use today, regardless of whether you are married, single, dating, or just confused about relationships. Here it is. Before you react to any emotional situation, give yourself a 24-hour rule. Can you at least try 30 seconds? When you're hungry, hurt, embarrassed, or feeling disrespected, don't respond immediately. Don't send that text. Don't do it. Don't make that post. Don't call to argue. Just wait. Most relationship damage doesn't come from what we feel. It comes from what we say while feeling it. Text messages are actually worse, but we'll talk about that. That one simple habit will save you more relationships than any motivational quote. Back to Tuface, Annie, and Natasha. So in the interview with Seun Okinbaloye, Tuface admitted something powerful. He said he hasn't been the best dad lately.
What about the children? Everyone is good.
I've not been the best daddy.
He said he's trying to figure things out. That's accountability, right? Isn't that what we all want? You're right. Anyway, he then said he needs privacy.
Privacy is very, very golden. You understand what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I'm a musician. Unfortunately, I have how do I put it? I have intentionally revoked my right to privacy by going into music.
And then we have 3 myths. We have 3 myths that caught my attention, and we must bust those myths right now in this video. Myth number 1. Tuface insinuated that there can be smoke without fire. He said that's what everyone on the internet is using to create a story from their ass.
We have this thing now, this phone, this stuff, and we have so many idle people. We have so many people that can just wake up and decide to just say anything. You know what these people thrive on is this saying where they say there's no smoke without fire. So they just don't want to create doubt. They create falsehood. There's so many fake news.
He accused you all of looking for problems where there's none. Myth number 2. Remember that comment, the one I said in the beginning, that Tuface will forever miss Annie because no other woman can tolerate and love him that much. Myth number 3. Tuface concluded that there are no blueprints.
You just have to handle it. You understand what I'm saying? There's no blueprint.
No manual to balancing privacy and public life. His greatest struggle, it seems. These 3 myths sound simple. They're false anyway, but they reveal a lot of truth that I want to share with you in these 3 secrets. Here is secret number 1. Your reactions are actions you're responsible for. Tuface admitted that anger has gotten the best of him.
I was angry that day. I was angry and I let my emotions get the best of me. And I want the young boys to understand, young boys and girls. When you react in anger, sometimes you go regret what you do.
That's as honest as one can get, right? But in the same breath, he blamed the public for creating stories. This is where common sense tends to run into a deep ditch. I always say common sense is a terrible guide to relationships, and I'm still saying it. You see, you can be provoked and still be responsible for how you respond. Actually, you are responsible for how you respond. A lot of us secretly want to be seen as perfect victims. We want to say, I only reacted because they pushed me. But emotional maturity says, even if they pushed me, I choose how to fall. When it comes to emotions, okay? According to behavioral studies, emotional regulation is one of the strongest predictors of healthy relationships and stable families. Not money, not fame, not even your selfish idea of love. Self-control. That's a hard truth for men, especially from my observation. Here's secret number 2. We will never truly know what happened between Annie and Tuface. That social media comment said he will forever miss Annie. No other woman can tolerate and love him that much. I understand the emotion behind that. It's moral based with no regard for the necessity of skills. But real life is not Nollywood. In real life, good people hurt each other. Yes, you didn't know? Oh, in real life, victims can also become villains. Right? Hurt people hurt people. In real life, your selfish idea of love alone is not enough to sustain a marriage. So shaming Tuface like he's the only villain in the story just from what we see online lacks insight and foresight. And pretending we know for a fact that Annie is the victim in their overall love story is cute but so unrealistic. Marriage succeeds because of skills, not because of social media loyalty or one-sided moral standards. Remember, in love and war, all is fair. That's not to say anything goes in marriage. I just want you to focus on skills to help facilitate unity always. That's the objective. Make it you and your spouse against the world and not against each other. So marriage succeeds because of communication skills, conflict resolution skills, healthy boundaries, not building a fence or low level of tolerance or blocking every inconvenience on social media, WhatsApp, or your contacts. I'm talking about emotional and social intelligence skills. Without those, even a marriage between 2 good people can break. Visit the divorce court, interview people, and let me know if you find one person that will admit being the villain. Here's secret number 3. There's always a blueprint. Even when you claim there isn't a blueprint or a manual, that opinion becomes your blueprint or your manual. Is that really what you want? Tuface said, there is no blueprint to balancing privacy and public life. Little to no wonder why he struggles to contain all those households and the chaos. There are men who have done it well. There are women who have navigated fame without chaos, or by controlling their chaos. There are systems, mentors, therapists, counselors, and coaches who help people manage these pressures. But many of us, especially in Black and African culture, think seeking help is weakness. We call counseling and therapy Oyinbo nonsense. We call mentorship unnecessary. They just want to take your money, right? We call self-accountability weight. We never actually think about self-accountability. We say, do what works for you. And then we wonder why our lives feel out of control. If it was working, no one will be complaining, right? Pride is expensive. It costs families, it costs peace, it costs legacy. Right now, some of you watching feel exactly like Tuface, overwhelmed by the consequences of your own choices. But those consequences are actually opportunities to elevate to a new level. Who is going to tell him? Well, I just want to talk to you. Some of you feel like Annie, exhausted from loving someone who keeps testing your limits. Are you going to get stuck in victimhood or do something about the rest of your life? Some of you feel like Natasha, walking into a situation you didn't fully understand, and now carrying public judgment on your head that you never planned for, and overreacting or fantasizing about your capacity to change Two-Face. Do you have the capacity to change a Two-Face to your perfect picture lover? That's why this story isn't just entertainment, it's a mirror for all of us. Before I wrap this up, quick reminder. If this conversation is adding value to you, hit the like button please, and subscribe to the channel. We're building a community of emotionally intelligent, socially aware men and women here. And remember our last deep dive video, Femi Adebayo versus Inyo Aladuke, the leaked audio saga. That conversation showed us again how quickly private matters can explode when emotional intelligence is missing and all you're working with is common sense. Go to the last video and watch it. You will see that someone said, love is not enough. Maybe your idea of love, it's not the same for everyone, you know that, right? But here's another perspective. Common sense is not enough. And yes, I'm repeating common sense on purpose because that's the trap. At the end of the day, Two-Face life is not just a cautionary tale. It's a lesson. A lesson that talent doesn't replace character. Do you agree? A lesson that good intentions doesn't cancel consequences. A lesson that being a legend in public doesn't automatically make you a hero at home. After all, we already know that a prophet is not honorable in his own village, right? And a lesson that every one of us is one emotional decision away from a life we didn't plan, like a complete chaotic life. So here's what I want to leave you with. If you were advising Two-Face, Annie, or even Natasha as a neutral mentor, not some weirdos on the internet taking sides, what do you think each of them could have done differently to change this entire outcome? I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments. This is Ola, Man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.